Hi guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to read 1 Samuel 29 to 31, 2 Samuel 1 to 3, Proverbs 12, and Psalm 136. Let's get started. Now the Philistines had gathered all their forces at Aphek, and the Israelites were encamped by the spring as in Jezreel. And as the lords of the Philistines were passing on by hundreds and by thousands, and David and his men were passing on in the rear with Achish, the commanders of the Philistines said, "What are these Hebrews doing here?" Then Achish said to the commanders of the Philistines, "This is not David, the son of Saul, king of Israel. He has been with me now for days and weeks. And since he deserted me, I have found no fault in him to this day." The commanders of the Philistines were angry with him, and the commanders of the Philistines said to him, "Send the man back, that he may return to a place which you have assigned him. He shall not go down with us to battle. In the battle he became an adversary to us. For how could he, this fellow, reconcile himself to his Lord? Would it not be with the heads of the men here? Is not this David, of whom they sing to one another and dance? Saul struck down his thousands, and David his 10,000. And Achish called David and said to him, "As the Lord lives, you have been honest, and to me it seems right that you should march out and with me in the campaign. For I found nothing wrong in you from the day of your coming to me to this day. Nevertheless, the Lord do not approve of you, so go back now and go peaceably, for you may not displease the Lord of the Philistines." And David said to Achish, "But what have I done? What have you found your servant from the day I answered your service until now? That I may not go and fight against the enemies of my lord the king." And Achish answered David and said, "I know that you are as blameless in my sight as an angel of God. Nevertheless, the commanders of the Philistines have said, You shall not go up with us to the battle. Now then, rise early in the morning with the servants of your Lord who came with you, and start early in the morning, and depart as soon as you have light." So David set out with his men early in the morning to return to the land of the Philistines. And the Philistines went up to Jezreel. Now when David and his men came to Zechariah on the third day, the Amalekites made a raid against Ziklag, and he had overcome Ziklag and burned them with fire, and taken captives of women and all who were in them, both small and great. They killed no one, but carried them off and went their way. And David and his men came to the city. They found it burned with fire, and their wives and sons and daughters taken captive. And David, he brought with them raised their voices and wept until they had no more strength to weep. And David's two wives also had been taken captive, Ahinoam of Jezreel and Abigail the widow of Nabal of Carmel. And David was greatly distressed, for he was very concerned him, because all the people were bitter in soul, each for his sons and their daughters. But David strengthened himself in the Lord his God. And David said to Abiathar the priest, son of Ahimelech, "Bring me the ephod." So Abiathar brought the ephod to David. And David inquired of him, "Shall I pursue after this bear? Shall I overtake him?" He answered him, "Pursue, for you shall surely overtake and shall surely rescue." So David set out, and 600 men who were with him, and they came to the brook Bessel, where those who were left behind stayed. But David pursued, he and 400 men. 200 stayed behind, who were too exhausted to cross the brook Bessel. They found an Egyptian in the European country, and brought him to David, and they gave him bread only. And they gave him water to drink, and they gave him a cake of bread and drunk water for 3 days. A cake with figs and 2 clusters of raisins. And when he had eaten, his spirit revived, for he had not eaten bread or drunk water for 3 days and 3 nights. And David said to him, "To whom do you belong? And where are you from?" He said, "I am a young man of Egypt, 17, in America. And my master left me behind because I fell sick 3 days ago." We had made a raid against the Negev of the Cherethites, and against that which belongs to Judah, and against the Negev of Caleb. And we burned Ziklag with fire. And David said to him, "Will you take me down to this bed?" He said, "Swear to me by God that you will not kill me or deliver me into the hands of my master, and I'll take you down to this bed." And when he had taken him down, behold, they were spread across him abroad over all the land, eating and drinking and dancing, because of all the great spoil they had taken from the land of the Philistines and from the land of Judah. And David struck them down from twilight until the evening of the next day, and not a man of them escaped, except 400 young men. And they mounted camels and fled. David recovered all the Amalekites had taken, and David rescued his 2 wives. Nothing was missing. If they were small or great, sons or daughters, spoil or anything that had been taken. And David had brought back all. David had captured all the flock and herds, and the people drove the livestock before him and said, "This is David's spoil." When David came to the 200 men who had been totally exhausted to follow David, who had been left at the brook vessel, and they went out to meet David, and to meet the people who were with him. And when David came near to the people, he greeted them. And the wicked and worthless fellows among the men who had gone with David said, because they do not go with us, and I will not give them any of the spoil that we can find, except each man, and he lead away his wife and children to depart. And David said, you shall not do so, my lads, with what has the Lord given us. He has preserved us and given into our hand. The band that came against us. Who would listen to you in this matter? For as his share is, he goes down into the battle, so shall his share be who stays on the baggage. He shall share a life, and he made a statute and a rule for Israel from that day forward to this day. And David came to Ziklag. He sent part of the spoil to his friends, the elders of Judah, and they say, here's a present for you from the spoil of the enemies of the Lord. And it was for those in Bethel, in Ramoth of Negev, in Jitti, in Arah, in Siphmoth, in Eshtamoth, in Rakel, in the chief of the Jeremites, the chiefs of the Kenites, in Hormah, in Borshan, in Athak, in Hebron, for all the places where David and his men had round. Now the Philistines were fighting against Israel, and the men of Israel fled before the Philistines and fell slain on Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines overtook Saul and his sons, and the Philistines struck down Jonathan and Abinadab and Malchishua, the sons of Saul. And Malchus had against Saul, and the archers found him, and he was badly wounded by the archers. And Saul said to his armor-bearer, draw your sword and thrust me through with it, lest these uncircumcised come and thrust me through and mistreat me. And his armor-bearer would not, for he feared greatly. Therefore Saul took his own sword and fell upon it. And when his armor-bearer saw that Saul was dead, he also fell upon his sword and died with him. Thus Saul died, and his 3 sons, and his armor-bearer, and all his men on the same day together. And the men of Israel who were on the other side of the valley, and those beyond the Jordan, saw that the men of Israel had fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead. They abandoned their cities and fled, and the Philistines came and lived in them. And the next day, when the Philistines came to strike the slain, they found Saul and his 3 sons fallen in Mount Gilboa. So they cut off his head and stripped off his armor, and sent messengers throughout the land of the Philistines to carry the good news to the house of their idols, said to the people. He put his armor in the temple of Ashtaroth, and they fastened his body to the wall of Bethshan. And the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead heard not the Philistines had done so. All the valiant men arose and went all night and took the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons and the wall of Bethshan. And they came to Jabesh and burned them there. And they took their bones and buried them under the tamarisk tree in Jabesh and fasted 7 days. 2 Samuel 1-3. After the death of Saul, and David had returned from striking down the Amalekites, David remained 2 days in Ziklag. Then on the 3rd day, behold, a man came from Saul's camp, with his clothes torn and dirt on his head. When he came to David, he fell to the ground and paid homage. David said to him, where did you come from? And he said to him, I have escaped from the camp of Israel. And David said to him, how did it go to him? And he answered, the people fled from the battle, and also many other people have fallen and are dead. And Saul and his son Jonathan are also dead. Then David said to the young man who told him, how do you know that Saul and his son Jonathan are dead? And the young man who told him said, by chance I happened to be on Mount Gilboa, and there was Saul living on his feet. And behold, he saw me and called to me. And here I am. And he said to me, who are you? I answered, I am the Amalekite. And he said to me, stand beside me and kill me, for anguish has seized me, and yet my life still lingers. So I stood beside him and killed him, because I was sure that he could not live after he had fallen. And I took the crown that was on his head and the armor that was on his arm, and I brought them here to my Lord. And David took hold of his clothes and told him, and so did all the men who were with him. And they went and left and fasted until evening for Saul and for Jonathan and his son, because the people were the Lord, and for the house of Israel, because they had fallen by the sword. And David said to the young man who told him, where do you come from? And he answered, I am the son of C.Jun and a Malachi. David said to him, how is it you are not afraid to put out your hand to destroy the Lord's anointed? So David called one of the young men and said, go, execute him. Then he struck him down so that he died. And David said to him, your blood be on your head. So for your own mouth has testified against you, saying, I have killed the Lord's anointed. And David lamented with his lamentation over Saul and Jonathan his son. And he said that it should be taught to the people of Judah. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher. He said, your glory, Israel, is slain on the high places, how the mighty have fallen. Tell it not in Gath, publish it not in the streets of Ashkelon, Thus the daughters of the Philistines rejoiced, and thus the daughters of the uncircumcised exult. You mountains of Gilgal, let there be no dew or rain upon you, nor fields or offerings, nor there the shield of the mighty was defiled, the shield of Saul will not anoint with it. On the blood of the slain, the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jonathan turned not back, the sword of Saul returned not empty. So on Jonathan, beloved and lovely, in life and in death they were not divided. They were swifter than eagles, they were stronger than lions. You daughters of Israel, weep over Saul, who clothes you luxuriously in scarlet, who put ornaments with gold on your apparel. How the mighty have fallen in the midst of the battle. Jonathan lies down on your high places. I am very distressed. I am distressed for you, my brother Jonathan. Now pleasant have you been to me. Your love to me was extraordinary, so far from the life of woman. Now the mighty have fallen, the weapons of war perish. Now after this David inquired of the Lord, shall I go into any of the cities of Judah? The Lord said to him, go up. David said, to where shall I go? And he said to the Hebrew. So Jacob went up there, and his two wives, Ahinoam of Jezreel and Abigail, the widow of Nabal of Carmel. And David brought up his men who were with him, everyone with his household, and they lived in the towns of Hebron. And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over him, the house of Judah. And they told David, it was a man of Jabesh Gilead who buried Saul. David sent messengers to the men of Jabesh Gilead and said to them, I be blessed by the Lord, because you showed this loyalty to Saul your Lord, and buried him. Now may the Lord show steadfast love and faithfulness to you, and I'll do good to you because you have done this thing. Now therefore let your hands be strong and be valiant, for Saul your Lord is dead, and the house of Judah has anointed me king over them. And Abner the son of Ner, commander of Saul's army, took Ishbosheth the son of Saul and brought him over to Mahanaim. And he made him king over Gilead, and the Ashurites and Jezreel, and Ephraim and Benjamin, and all Israel. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and he reigned 2 years. And the house of Judah followed David. At the time David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. Abner the son of Ner and the servants of Ishbosheth the son of Saul went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab the son of Zeruiah and the sons of David went out and met them at the pool of Gibeon. And they sat down, one on the one side of the pool and the other on the other side of the pool. And Abner said to Joab, let the young men arise and compete before us. And Joab said, let them arise. And then he arose and passed over by number, 12 for Benjamin and Ishbosheth the son of Saul, and 12 for the servants of David. And each caught his opponent by the hand and thrust his sword in his opponent's side. So they fell down together. Therefore that place is called Helkath Hazor, which is at Gibeon. And the battle was very fierce that day, and Abner and the men of Israel were beaten before the servants of David. And the three sons of Zeruiah were there, Joab, Abishai, and Asahel. Now Asahel was the swiftest foot as a wild gazelle, and Asahel pursued Abner, and as he went, he turned neither to the right hand nor to the left, and following Abner. And Abner looked behind him and said, is it you, Asahel? And he answered, it is I. Abner said, turn aside to your right hand or to your left, and seize one of the young men and take his spoil. And Asahel would not turn aside from following me. Abner said again to Asahel, turn aside from following me. Why should I strike you to the ground? How then could I lift up my face to your brother Joab? But he refused to turn aside. Therefore Abner struck him in the stomach with the butt of his spear, so that the spear came out of his back. And he fell there and died there where he was. And when he came to the place where Asahel had fallen and died, stood still. Now Joab and Abishai pursued Abner. As the sun was going down, they came to the hill of Ammah, which lies before Giah on the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. And the people of Benjamin gathered themselves together behind Abner and became one group and took their stand on top of the hill. And Abner called to Joab, shall the sword devour forever? Do you not know that the end will be there? How long will it be before you tell your people to turn from the pursuit of their brothers? And Joab said, as God lives, if you had not spoken, surely the men would have not given up the pursuit of their brothers until the morning. So Joab blew the trumpet, and all the men stopped and pursued Israel no more, nor did they fight any more. And Abner had all his men, and his men went all that night through the Arabah. They crossed the Jordan, and marching the whole morning, they came to Mahanaim. And Joab returned from the pursuit of Abner. And when he gathered all the people together, there were missing from David's servants 19 men besides Asahel. Now the servants of David had struck down of Benjamin 360 of Abner's men, and they took up Asahel and buried him in the tomb of his father, which was at Bethlehem. And Joab and his men marched all night. And daybreak upon Mount Hebron, there was a long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. And David grew stronger and stronger, while the house of Saul became weaker and weaker. And the sons were born to David at Hebron. His firstborn was Amnon of Ahinoam of Jezreel, and second Chileab of Abigail, the widow of Nabal of Carmel. and the third Absalom the son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, and king of Geshur, and the fourth Adonijah the son of Haggith, and the fifth Shephatiah the son of Abitol, and the sixth Ithream of Eglah, David's wife. These were born to David in Hebron. There was war between the house of Saul and while there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, Abner was making himself strong in the house of Saul. Now Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, and Ishbosheth said to Abner, "I have gone into my father's concubine." And Abner was very angry with the words of Ishbosheth and said, "I made a dog's head of Judah. To this day I keep showing steadfast love to the house of Saul your father, to his brothers, and to his friends, and have not given you into the hand of David. And yet you charge me today with fault concerning a woman. God do so to Abner and more, as if I do not accomplish for David what the Lord has sworn to transfer the kingdom from the house of Saul, and to set up a throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan to Beersheba." And Ishbosheth could not answer Abner another word, because he feared him. And Abner sent messengers to David on his behalf, saying, "To whom does the land belong? Make a covenant with me, and behold, my hand shall be with you to bring over all Israel to you." And he said, "Good, I'll make a covenant with you. But one thing I require of you, that is, you shall not see my face unless you first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, when you come to see my face." And David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, "Give me my wife Michal, for whom I paid the bridal price of 100 foreskins of the Philistines." And Ishbosheth went and took her from her husband Paltiel, the son of Laish, and her husband went with her, leaving after her all the way to Bethlehem. And Abner said to him, "Go, return." And he returned. And Abner conferred with the elders of Israel, saying, "For some time past you have been seeking David as king over you. Now then bring it back, for the Lord has promised the hand of the Philistines." Thomas David saying, "By the hand of my servant David, I will save my people Israel from the hand of the Philistines, and from my hand of all their enemies." Abner also spoke to Benjamin, and when Abner turned to tell David at Hebron all that Israel and the whole house of Benjamin thought good to do. When Abner came with 20 men to David at Hebron, David made a feast for Abner and the men who were with him. And Abner said to David, "I will rise and go, and will gather all Israel to my lord the king, and that they may make a covenant with you, and that you may reign over all that your heart desires." So David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. And then the servants of David arrived with Joab from Array, bringing much spoil with him. But Abner was not with David at Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he had gone in peace. And Joab and all the army that was with him came. It was told Joab, "Abner's son has came to the king, and he has let him go, and he has gone in peace." And Joab went to the king and said, "What have you done? Behold, Abner came to you. Why is it that you have sent him away, so that he is gone? You know that Abner, son of came to deceive you, and to know you're going out and you're coming in, and to know all that you are doing." And Joab came out from David's presence. He sent messengers after Abner, and they brought him back from the cistern of Sirah, and that David did not know about it. And when Abner returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside into the midst of the gate to speak with him privately. And there he struck him in the stomach, so that he died, with the blood of Asahel his brother. Afterward, when David heard of it, he said, "I and my kingdom are forever guiltless before the Lord, for the blood of Abner the son of Ner." And it fall upon the head of Joab and upon all his father's house. And may the house of Joab never be without one who is discharged, or who is leprous, or who holds a spindle, or who bowls by the sword, or who lacks bread. So Joab and Abishai his brother killed Abner, because he put their brother Asahel to death in the battle of Gibeon. And David said to Joab and all the people who were with him, "Tear your clothes and put on sackcloth and stand before Abner." And King David followed the view, and they buried Abner at Hebron. And the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner, and all the people wept, saying. And the king lamented for Abner, saying, "Should Abner die as a fool dies, your hands were not bound, your feet were not fettered, as one falls before the wicked, you have fallen." And all the people wept again over him. And then all the people came to persuade David to eat bread while it was yet day. And David swore, saying, "God do so to me and more, so if I taste bread or anything else until the sun goes down." And all the people took notice of it and pleased them, and as everything that the king did pleased all the people. So all the people and all Israel understood that day that it had not been the king's will to put to death Abner the son of Ner. And the king said to his wife, "Do you not know that a prince and a great man is fallen to stay in Israel? I was general today that you anointed king. These men, the sons of Zeruiah, are more severe than I. The Lord repays the evildoer according to his wickedness." Proverbs 12. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid. A good man obtains favor from the Lord, but a man of evil devices he condemns. No one is established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous will never be removed. An excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she brings shame like rod and sin is bone. The thoughts of the righteous are just, the counsels of the wicked are deceitful. The words of the wicked lie in wait for blood, and the mouth of the outright delivers them. The wicked are overthrown and unremovable. The house of the righteous will stand, and men is commended according to his good sense. A one to someone is despised. Better to be lowly and have a servant than to play the great man and lack bread. And whoever is righteous has regard for the laugh of his speech, but the mercy of the wicked is cruel. Whoever works his land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows worthless pursues lessons. Whoever is wicked confesses for evil done. And the root of the righteous bears fruit, and evil man is a snare at the transgression of his lips. And the righteous escapes from trial. The fruit of a man is satisfied with good, and the work of a man's hand comes back to him. The way of a fool is right, and a wise man listens to advice. The vexation of a fool is denied at once, but the prudent ignores an insult. Whoever speaks the truth gives honest evidence. The false witness utters deceit. There is one who rash words are like sword thrusts. The tongue of the wise brings healing. Truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Deceit is in the heart of those who devise evil, but no ill. And those who have peace have joy. No ill befalls the righteous, but the wicked are filled with trouble. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who act faithfully are as to lie. A prudent man conceals knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaims folly. The hand of the diligent will what slothful will be put to forced labor. The anxiety in the man's heart weighs him down. There's no good one that makes him die. One who is righteous is a guide to his neighbor. And the way of the wicked will lead him astray. Whoever is slothful will not roast his game, but the diligent man will get precious wealth. In the path of righteousness is life, and in his pathway there is no death. Psalm 136. Give thanks for the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of gods, for his steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him alone does great wonders, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who by understanding made the heavens, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who spread out the earth above the waters, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who made the great lights, for his steadfast love endures forever. To the sun who over the day, for his steadfast love endures forever. The moon and stars to rule over the night, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who strikes on the firstborn of Egypt, for his steadfast love endures forever. And brought Israel out from among them, for his steadfast love endures forever. With a strong hand and outstretched army, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who divided the Red Sea into two, for his steadfast love endures forever. He made Israel pass through the midst of it, for his steadfast love endures forever. And he made Israel pass through the midst of it, for his steadfast love endures forever. For he overthrew Pharaoh and his hearts in the Red Sea, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who led his people through the wilderness, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who struck down great kings, for his steadfast love endures forever. And killed mighty kings, for his steadfast love endures forever. Sidon king of the Amorites, and for his steadfast love endures forever. And Og king of Bashan, for his steadfast love endures forever. And gave their land as a heritage, for his steadfast love endures forever. A heritage to Israel is ever, for his steadfast love endures forever. Is he who remembered us in our low estate, for his steadfast love endures forever. And he rescued us from our foes, for his steadfast love endures forever. For he who gives food to all flesh, for his steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of heaven, for his steadfast love endures forever. Now this done, I shall now do the Lord's Prayer. Please bow our heads. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Give us the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.